Hey guys, this is Dr. Etemadi, and I'm going to go over best practices with RapidWaxup to get you a predictable, perfect occlusion double arch within 15 to 20 minutes tops. I'm pretty experienced with exocad, and something like this would take me at least an hour there. So let's get right into it. We'll start with a double arch wax up. We do have a single arch coming soon, but first you'll just drag and drop in your two STLs or PLY files, as well as a photo of the patient that you'll use to align, and you can drop in a DICOM set as well. You can just do the zip file and this program will segment it for you, or you can drag and drop in pre-segmented maxilla and mandible. Here I'm just doing our alignment steps, so I clicked on start alignment and it shows me the maxilla, the CBCT, and also the intraoral scan, and you just hit 3 points on each. And the alignment takes anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds. It's really quick and it depends on your computer speed. Again, 3 points on the mandible. We hit run alignment and we just wait about 5 seconds here. If the alignment is poor or doesn't look good, you can always click reject and repick. But this one looks great, so we're just gonna hit accept. Our next step is going to be to start the photo alignment. So I just went on the left side and scrolled down, and it'll prompt you to click the two pupils. You can also move that midline around if you'd like. Hit confirm, and in the next step you're going to click 2 points on the patient's teeth that are clearly visible, and those same 2 points on your STL or PLY file. Here you have a couple options. You can play with the photo opacity on the top right there to double check things. If you click on the STL, you can rotate it around, but the anterior stays fixed. And if you click on those two dots, the number 1 and number 2, you can resize the mesh a little bit just to get it more perfect. Your next step is going to be just to outline the patient's lips. You don't have to do this perfectly, just go from one point to the next, and you can always refine it after you're done. So I'll just show you here. Just misclicked right there, and I'm just going to refine it. Hit next and you will go to the home page. So you'll have your photo alignment view already, but I'm just zooming out and I'm going to click on remember view. This is going to give me a new view that I can always go back to, and it shows me the patient's eyes, her whole face, as well as the teeth. And I'm going to turn the photo off because I'm going to click to position the wax rooms now. So on the left side, there's 6 options. This program basically walks you through everything. This is our first step, and it's just clicking 3 points on the patient's teeth. This will closely approximate the wax rim. It's not going to be perfect, but we're going to go into step number 2, and that's going to help us to get things a little bit more aligned. So we have the move and rotate here. I'm just going to move that around. And what I'm evaluating here is pretty much the way that we do dentures as well with the wax rims. It's the analog technique. And we're looking at the incisal edge position. We're going to be looking at the posterior occlusion, the curve of SPE, how it follows the patient's lip lines. I don't think I have to explain this one too much. It should be pretty self-explanatory to everybody here. So I'm just tilting this a little bit so that I can get the occlusal scheme a little bit more in line with her existing dentition. So the posterior looks good, but as we'll see in a little bit when I bring the photo in, her incisal edge is going to end up being a little bit too low. So let's bring that in. I'm just going to click that eyeball and hit photo alignment view, which is the patient's face horizontal, and I'm just gonna drag the wax rims up so that her incisal edges are not below her lower lip. Good, so I'm gonna reevaluate the posterior, and I see that it's just not quite right, so I'm gonna tilt it back down a little bit and tilt it there. So now the posterior is looking better while the incisal edge stays above her lower lip. Very self-explanatory here. Next, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn off the entire upper arch, and we're going to evaluate the lower arch. This is one of the most powerful things about RapidWaxup, is we can quickly evaluate where the teeth are going to go relative to the patient's bone. And this is critical for all-on-4 cases, where if we don't have the bone, then we can't place teeth there. So this helps us to design the teeth around the patient's bone, and it gives us a lot more predictable results. And what I'm showing here is that even if you move one of the wax rims, the other one follows, and we always stay in perfect occlusion. So next here is I'm going to cut my alveoloplasty. So where the red meets the yellow is about 12 to 15 millimeters. This is closer to 12 millimeters, which is about my minimum restorative thickness for zirconia. And I'm just clicking and dragging, and a little bit more than 12 millimeters there. This basically guarantees that I'm going to have enough restorative thickness. So just turning the photo back on, because now I'm going to check out some tooth libraries. And these ones, you know, if you don't do any of the wax rim bending or anything like that, they load pretty much instantly. But if you've already cut your alveoloplasty line and you've bent the wax rims to follow the patient's unique anatomy, then every time you click on one of these, it goes through a process where the waxups automatically align to the way that you did your wax rims. So this is super powerful. You don't have to go back and keep refining things to make sure that the waxups follow the patient's anatomy. There we go. I'm just tilting it a little bit there, and it's already looking pretty darn good for this patient. Just going to turn the photo off, and I want to show you guys something else that's super powerful with RapidWaxup. Is now we can see what the waxup looks like relative to the patient's bone. We don't want to get into situations where, you know, our designer places the teeth somewhere that they think looks good, but the patient just doesn't have the bone there. So here, I'm just going to move things a little bit. And in this menu, this is box number 6 on the left-hand side. There's an option to bend upper waxup or bend lower waxup. This bends the waxup independent of the opposing arch. So now we're throwing things slightly out of that perfect occlusion. It's not going to be an issue at all. We can show the occlusion later and just do some quick adjustments, as you'll see in a little bit. So just turning that off, I'm gonna turn on the lower now, and I'm gonna evaluate the position of the teeth relative to the patient's bone after our alveoloplasty. Just looking at things from the lingual. And I'm just playing with the opacity here. So I'm gonna wanna bend this wax up a little bit. And we'll turn off the occlusion for a moment. And it seems like from what I'm looking at, the posterior teeth follow the bone pretty nicely. I'm happy with everything there. So in fact, I didn't need to bend the wax up at all, but now I have turned on the occlusion and I'm gonna hit confirm bend so I can sculpt the lower. And we have add, remove, smooth, and push and pull. So here I'm just gonna click there, just refining the occlusion in the posterior. I don't want any of those heavy spots. This is super easy for anybody to do. You really don't need to have a crazy amount of knowledge and experience with digital dentistry. I'm going into add now, and I'm slowly clicking there just to add occlusion where I want it. Looks a little bit too heavy on her left side. And at this point, I would say I'm pretty happy with this. I'm just gonna hit hide occlusion. And now here's another super powerful thing. We've all run into situations where we do our alveoloplasty, we do our conversion, deliver the teeth, and we have these huge ledges hanging off of the patient's buccal. And this is because our designers could not really predict where our alveoloplasty was going to be, and then our wax ups ended up with these rims or shelves hanging off of the buccal or the lingual. With RapidWaxup, you can very, very easily design the prosthetic to fit exactly the patient's bony contours after your alveoloplasty is done. So here I'm just using the push-pull tool and just dragging everything back. And this is going to guarantee that my patient isn't going to come back to me in 2 weeks or so and say, you know, this thing is pushing out my lip and I'm collecting all this food under here, can you replace it? And then you have to go through another revision, which takes up a lot of chair time. So that looks pretty good to me. I'm just going to use the smoothing tool now. Just going all around here. This isn't super necessary to do. If you use Rapid Arch to do your conversions, all of this gets automatically smoothed for you. But just to demonstrate, I'm showing you guys that you can do it in RapidWaxup as well. I'm going to lower the opacity of my lower CBCT so I can add a little bit to the intaglier here. Looking back at this case, I think a better way to have done it would have been to just do a little bit more alveoloplasty to level the bone to the patient's left-hand side. But something like this is not going to make or break the case. Just gonna smooth a little bit more. And that pretty much does it for the lower arch. You have something that's unique to the patient's anatomy in perfect occlusion. And now let's take a look at the upper. I'm not going to go through the whole thing with the upper since we just did it for the lower, but just to demonstrate real quickly, just hit sculpt upper, hit the push and pull button. I'm going to turn off the occlusion here just to see things a little bit more clearly, and you just click and drag. This patient had lost her anterior teeth quite a long time ago, so she had lost a lot of bone there. And I'm just dragging it back so she doesn't feel that shelf in the anterior. One more thing I want to show you guys, whoever's doing pterygoids, this is an amazing way to plan things to the patient's anatomy. I'm using the push and pull here, and I'm just gonna click and pull. And this drags our pterygoid extension exactly to where I'm gonna be planning to place my pterygoid implant. And that should do. I'm just gonna smooth it a little bit. And on the patient's left side, I see a little bit of excess on the buccal there, so I'm just using the remove tool. Super easy to do. And there we have it. This is just about 15 minutes. I expect people that are newer to this to take about 30 to 45 minutes or so. Still much faster than with other CAD software. But as you guys practice more and get more experience, this should start to become super predictable. Thanks for watching.